Hello everybody, my name is RetroBoy03, coming back at you with another video, where today we'll be taking a look at these two TOMY Classic Tales plushes from their Sonic the Hedgehog line, to determine which of these is the superior plush. On the left, we have the TOMY 25th Anniversary Classic Tales plush from 2016, and on the right, we have TOMY's Sonic the Hedgehog Collector Series Classic Tales plush from 2017. So, without further ado, let's get into this, and, well, first off, I do want to mention that both of these plushes, at the time of release, originally retailed for around $15 in the United States. And I will just be going off of that. I'm not going to be including the fact that now, on the aftermarket, 25th Anniversary Tales is like $70 or $80. I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm talking about these plushes as if they were the same price, and then which one of them is superior. So let's get into that. To start with, probably the most noticeable difference between these two plushes is the materials they're constructed of. The 25th Anniversary Tales is mainly using, for all of the fur and stuff, basically all of the detail is constructed using a nice crushed velvet material, while Collector's Tales instead has a synthetic fur material for some details, and then just sort of a synthetic, I don't know what you call it, just a synthetic flat material for others, I guess. Yeah, we're just gonna go with that. And, well, first off, there's kind of a decision already, because both of these plushes look very nice with the materials they have. However, 25th Anniversary Tales, while he looks very nice, shiny, and collectible, if you wanted to cuddle up with this plush, the crushed velvet material isn't very nice to the touch, because, well, one way it's nice and smooth, the other way, if you want to pet it the other way, it's actually quite rough. And either way, it's not very nice to just cuddle up with. Meanwhile, the Collector Series Tales is made of all of the fur on it is very nice, fluffy, and soft. So that's kind of already a big thing. Like, if you just want to have a plush to display, they both look nice, but if you want one to just have to cuddle up with, just as a stuffed toy for a kid, then Collector's Tales probably wins this one, because he's just nice and fluffy and cuddly. Another important thing to decide between on these guys is their faces. Because, as you can probably see, even though these plushes are only a year apart, there are a lot of differences in how the face is constructed. I mean, just in terms of head shape, I think the Collector's one wins. The Collector's one is a bit bigger, the snout's a bit thinner with the top being a bit wider, and I also think that the division looks a bit better with it just being basically sort of a straight line between his head, his top head and his muzzle, while Collector's Tales has it being more of like, while 25th Anniversary Tales has it as more of like, it sort of slopes up, then slopes down on the other side. I think it looks a bit better for just how Collector's Tales has it. I don't know. The nose, I think, is definitely an easy win for Collector's Tales, because, well, that's 25th Tales, and that's Collector's Tales, enough said. The eyes on both of these plushes, I think, look really nice. I mean, they're very similar. It's really just the fact that Collector's Tales is, like, the pupils are further up, so that he's more looking at you, while Collector's Tales look like he might... 25th Anniversary Tales looks like he might be looking down a bit. I'm sorry that I keep confusing these guys. I'll keep it simple. This guy's 2016 Tales, this guy's 2017 Tales. That'll make things a lot easier. Anyway, I think that the most notable difference in the face, however, is definitely the mouth, because 2016 Tales just has a simple line for his mouth, to just sort of give him a simple smile, while 2017 Tales has a nice opened mouth in like a triangle with two different colors of embroidery in there. Which I think the mouth makes the face on 2017 Tales look a bit more appealing, in my opinion. just in general. Like, I think he looks a bit cuter because of that decision, although both tails do look very cute. I think that one wins a little. Another thing I do have to mention is that I think Collector's Tales is stuffed a bit better. Like, looking at 25th Anniversary Tales, because I've just gone back to this because I'm not smart. Actually, I am smart, but I just can't remember what I'm trying to do here. So, 2016 Tales, you can see that some elements, like his ears and his limbs, are sort of shriveled and floppy. Like the ears especially, you can really tell that they're understuffed. But then his stomach is actually overstuffed. On Collector's Tales, it's a lot better, where his limbs are very well stuffed and thick. His ears are very nice. And meanwhile, his stomach, while it is still a little chubby, like Tails should be, it's nowhere near as stuffed, which I think overall contributes to a nicer, cleaner look. Also, this isn't something I can really show you, but quality control. When I got Collector's Tales, there were no problems with him whatsoever. However, when I received 25th Anniversary Tales, he had two notable loose threads. One of them was right by his cheek tuft, which was a white thread, so it was fine, but the other one was a black thread in between his two eyes. And the problem with that is that I can't get rid of the black, so you can see between his eyes there's a little black dot, which is not that great. Also, I guess looking at the hands, I mean, I can really only compare this hand, since the other hand on Collector's Tales is in a fist, but that's fine. I think the hands look fine on both. I actually think that the finger stitching and like the size of each finger and the amount of distance between definitely looks a bit better on 25th Anniversary Tales. I think on Collector's Tales, his two middle fingers, I mean the two fingers in the middle, obviously he only has one middle finger, you know what I'm saying. These two are a bit too thin, while these two are a bit too wide. I don't know, that might just be me, though. Don't know why I set these down, because I'm also going to talk about the shoes. I mean, well, maybe not less the shoes themselves, more of the little blue cuffs there. Because on 25th Anniversary Tales, the way these are sewn, you can see quite a bit of that blue stripe, maybe even a bit more than there should be. But on Collector's Tales, you can actually sort of move around the socks a bit, so you can actually sort of decide whether you want there to just be a little bit of a line, or not that much. And overall, I think this is a lot better, since you can just get that sort of just faint blue line in there, which I'm glad about. Really, the last thing to talk about on these plushes, besides the tags, but the plushes themselves, is the tails, and, well, you can probably see a major difference right here. Well, 2016 Tails has two rather small tails that, while they look nice, are, again, rather small. 2017 Tails has two very nice, very well-stuffed, very fluffy tails that are floppy at the end, so you can sort of wag them around, while 25th Anniversary Tails, his tails are sort of actually kind of well-stuffed at the end, so you can't really do that. So with Collector's Tales, if you wanted to, you could just sort of grab him and just sort of flap him up and down to have his tails function as wings. Sort of have him flying in obviously a way that Tails doesn't actually fly with his tails, but still, it could work for play. So yeah, I do think that the tails do look a lot better on Collector's Tales because, again, they're a lot bigger. I like the sort of pose they're in. I mean, again, I think it's just better that they're bigger. I think that's probably the most important thing here. Also, again, I like the sort of the curved shape of them, especially toward, like, the curved point here at the top. Well, these just sort of look like Christmas lights. Last thing to really look out on these plushes are the tags. Collector's Tales has the point of interest on the front, and then the inside and back are just legal info. And that's a nice picture of Tails with an orange swirl. Meanwhile, for 25th Tails, you can see that he is a tag that just has his name on the front with a 25th anniversary logo. But then on the inside is the point of interest with the nice Tails artwork. And what I think is very interesting is that looking at these, they actually use the same piece of artwork between them, which is pretty interesting, actually. I like that detail. It sort of creates a level of consistency between these two plushes, even though they are very different. And, oh, wait a minute, I just realized there's one more detail I need to mention on these plushes to compare. Tails' bangs. As you can see on 25th Tails, his bangs are sort of rounded at the edges with an embroidery line in them, but I think it looks a bit better on Collector's Tails, where they're pointed at the ends, and there's no embroidery line. So yeah, this was pretty interesting to look at, because, well, when I first reviewed Collector's Tails, when I first received him, I honestly thought that he was pretty much just a posed version of 25th Anniversary Tails, and when I got 25th Tails, he would be pretty much the same plush, but, well, I've been very surprised to learn that that is not at all the case. These two are very different plushes with tons of differences. I mean, 25th Anniversary Tails almost seems like he could be the prototype of Collector's Tails, and, well, seeing as how there was about a year between their release, you could sort of see him as that. A Tails plush that, while not perfect, definitely the newer one had took a lot of inspiration from it, but improved on the things that could have been improved on, while maybe getting rid of a few of the problems that the original had. So yeah, of these two guys, it's hard to say. I mean, judging by how much money any 25th Anniversary Tails is going for now, I would definitely recommend him, but if you saw both of these guys for the same price, and you had to pick one, I would honestly probably go with Collector's Tails. Overall, I just think he's a bit of a nicer plush. Nicer details, nicer construction, better quality control. But yeah, both of these guys are great. Collector's Tails, in my opinion, just has everything is just a little bit better. I mean, except that he's not shiny. 25th Tails is really nice and shiny, so I'm a big fan of him for that. He did his best. So yeah, so that's this plush comparison. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see all of you in my next video. Farewell.